An old woman was standing with a broken bowl in her hands. She immediately asked for 5,000 and said that the bowl was part of their ancestral heritage. If she didn't urgently need money, she would never have considered selling it. When Tony looked into her face, he felt that she wasn't a fraud. Trusting her, Tony gave her his entire month's salary. After taking the money, she insisted that Tony keep the bowl. As she left, there was a hint of sadness in her eyes. Tony then looked closely at the bowl. Suddenly, a golden light flashed before his eyes. A sharp pain followed, and then traditional Chinese characters appeared in his vision. It felt like the history of the bowl was being revealed to him. That's when Tony realized he had stumbled upon a treasure. Excited, he rushed home and carefully cleaned the bowl. On its underside, he found the inscription Daming Shanda. Yes, the bowl was slightly damaged, but palace-quality porcelain like that could easily sell for millions in the antique market. Tony started calculating in his head and decided it was time to take it to an expert in the antique market. There, he ran into his good friend Fatty, who was being harassed by a local thug. The thug was accusing Fatty of ruining their shop's feng shui and said Fatty would have to give up his shop immediately. Tony and Fatty were forcibly dragged inside the shop. As soon as Tony stepped in, his eyes lit up. He noticed 2 clay jars hidden in the backyard. With his experience, he sensed that these might be legendary sailor treasures. Tony pretended to be confused, but he was already making a plan in his head to help Fatty and get the shop. Fatty was scared, but Tony reassured him and gained his trust. The thug had no idea how foolish his decision that day would turn out to be. After the confrontation, Tony told Fatty to bring a shovel to the shop at midnight. Fatty was a bit confused, but seeing his friend's confidence, he trusted him for the first time. That night, Tony and Fatty quietly reached the shop's backyard. They quickly identified the target spot and started digging. Just as Tony had guessed, it didn't take long before the 2 jars emerged from the ground. Unable to contain their excitement, they immediately opened them. Inside were piles of silver coins. Fatty picked one up, blew on it, and held it to his ear. The clear ringing sound confirmed it was real silver. Reality did not disappoint them. Eagerly, they began counting the coins. Each jar contained 108 silver coins. If each coin was worth 10,000, then their total haul was 2,160,000. With that kind of money, they now had the confidence to participate in a treasure appraisal event. The next day, Tony and Fatty arrived at the competition. Tony casually looked around and suddenly noticed a yellowish jade hidden near a rock. He immediately told Fatty to place a bid on that stone. But when Fatty saw the starting price was 2 million, he hesitated. He would need about 3 million to secure it. The others started mocking him, but Tony convinced him, and Fatty finally decided to buy the stone. Soon, it was time for the stone cutting. Fatty invited Tony to witness the moment. Just as Tony had predicted, a golden jadeite emerged from inside the stone. Everyone around was left stunned. Just then the same thug came there with his daughter.